Hello, everyone. I want to thank everyone for their patience. We're trying to wrap up a long 2 days worth of meetings. We have literally been meeting for about, 13 hours over the last couple of days, maybe 14 hours. It's been a long couple of days. So I apologize for the late start, but we're going to rock and roll through this agenda. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Certainly. Mr. Rickerman? Here. Mr. McDowell? Mr. Duval? Mr. Badura? Here. Mr. Vine? Here. Mr. Davis?
Here.
Mayor Benjamin?
Present.
Thank you.
All right. I'm going to call forward, I guess we're going to have, make sure we got things in proper order. Young Sanaya, Sophia, and Nadil are going to come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And any of the other children who are not old enough to know it yet but want to stand with the young people, come on up here. Let's all stand.
You got this. You got this.
All right, you get close to the microphone so we can hear you and talk really loud. All right? Say it with pride.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That was loud.
That was fantastic. And what the other young lady who was with them, what's her name? Angel? Okay, Angel. Thank all four of you for blessing us with your presence and your pledge. Red McDowell, would you give us a word?
Room. We have talent. We have persons who give of themselves. We have persons who not only give of themselves, but give back to others in very tangible, spiritual ways. You brought us to this place this evening to discuss the business of this city. We simply ask that you might touch us individually and collectively. Allow each of us to feel your nearness. Even in government, we still feel your touch upon the fibers of our hearts. Touch us, ignite us, sensitize us to the needs of this city and to the residents thereto. We ask it in your name. Amen.
Amen. We ask everyone to be mindful as well. Keep Emily Clyburn in your prayers. The Clyburn family has been fighting together for the last several years, and it's been a tough week for them. So keep Mrs. Clyburn in your prayers, and Congressman Clyburn. And also, we want to again, we did yesterday recognize the passing of Joseph Azar. And also, some of you may remember Michael Mayfield. A great article on him this past week, the Rad Dad, who would often spend great amounts of time with us here at City Council meetings. Ask that you keep their families in your prayers as well. City Manager?
At this time, we would ask for any public input related to the items on the agenda as outlined, noting, Mr. Mayor, as you all adopt the agenda thereafter, that we would ask you to defer items 29 and 61 through 66.
So moved.
Moving seconded. Discussion. Seeing none, move the previous question. Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Rickerman?
Aye.
Mr. McDowell? Mr. Duval?
Aye.
Mr. Badura?
Aye.
Mr. Vine?
Aye.
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin?
Aye. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of June 11th,
So moved.
June 18th, July 9th, July 16th,
Second.
and August 6th of 2019? It's moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, move the previous question. Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Rickman.
Aye.
Mr. McDowell.
Aye.
Mr. Duval.
Aye.
Mr. Badura.
Aye.
Mr. Vine.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Aye. Consent agenda, I'm sorry, I forgot your amendments, Teresa. All as,
Items 12 through 28 and items 30 through 36.
all right.
So
moved. Motion?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move the previous question. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Rickman.
Aye.
Mr. McDowell.
Yes.
Mr. Duval.
Aye.
Mr. Badura.
Aye.
Mr. Vine.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Aye.
Moving into a period of presentations, Mr. Mayor and Council, the recognition of Mr. Mark A. Johnson as the September 2019 Employee of the Month, presented by Mr. Robert Anderson, our Public Works Director, Mr. John Hooks, our Solid Waste Superintendent, and Ms. Samantha Yeager, Assistant Solid Waste Superintendent.
Pull the microphone up a little bit.
Good evening. Thank you for your time. I have the honor this evening to present the City of Columbia Employee of the Month. This individual is a veteran employee of the Solid Waste Division. He's been employed with the city for 14 years. 14 years, 8 months, as he reminds me every day. He holds the job title of Equipment Operator Lead and is considered a leader within the division from his coworkers and supervisors. An Equipment Operator Lead within the Solid Waste Division operates multiple pieces of equipment. He operates a side loader, which we use for our roll cart collections for garbage and recycling, as well as a wheel loader and a clamshell that we use for our yard debris collection. When you hold the title of Equipment Operator Lead within the Solid Waste Division, you must be dependable, a team player, provide excellent customer service, and the most important thing is to be safe while we're operating within our city and the community. This employee is also one of our main go-to guys for emergency situations. He played a huge role in the 15 flood cleanup. I depended on him a lot to tell us what was going on. He's always willing to help and train other employees that make the division stronger. He's just an all-around team player and a huge asset to the Solid Waste Division. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Employee of the Month, Mr. Mark Johnson.
Recognize our hardest working employees because you all are the ones who get it done. You see our citizens every day and let us know what we really need to be doing to make sure their lives are taken care of and they're receiving the services they need. So for that, here's a little token. It's not a whole lot. I always say share it with someone special in your life, or you can keep it all to yourself, I guess, too. All right, thank you, Mark.
Don't sit.
Can he keep at least half of the bonus check? At least half, okay. At least half.
Yeah, I didn't see them sitting there, Mr. Mayor. I wouldn't have even said that. I know where that check is going.
No, I want to congratulate him. We often take a lot of things for granted. Obviously, our public works staff, we oftentimes don't realize that they are essential to the operation of the city. The reference made to the storm and the floods of 2015 really demonstrated that to everyone exactly how important and crucial and critical they are to the operations of the city in regular days and certainly in times of crisis. So we're thankful for Mr. Johnson's service.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Item 38, the recognition of the Benedict College as the HBCU of the Year Award recipient, the Honorable Edward H. McDowell, Jr. And I'm going to list Reverend McDowell for the record all of the many items here associated with Benedict College, my parents' alma mater, I'd throw that in. National Alumni Association of the Year, Male Coach of the Year, Coach James Rice, Male Faculty of the Year, Sanford Green, Trustees of the Year, BC Board of Trustees Chairman, Dr. Charlie W. Johnson, Female President of the Year, Dr. Rosalind Clark Artis, JD, EDD, and the HBCU of the Year.
My brothers and sisters, it has been a remarkable year since Dr. Artis visited and, of course, maintains residence in the city of Columbia and particularly Benedict College. You've been a driving force for us and, of course, for this community. There's a lot of yellow shirts out here. There's Miss Benedict College there.
Got the wave down pat.
Well,
Practice.
well, actually, we have all the young ladies with sashes on. We're certainly glad that you're here. You have given to us, through the help of your president, our friend to this college, and of course to this community, you've gifted us with vision, with insight, and with a kind of creativity that is moving us to higher heights and deeper depths. Not only are you a part of Benedict College, but you are a part of us. We've adopted you, and I hope you've adopted us. We love you. Thank you so much for your leadership. And at this point, I'd like for all to stand. And Dr. Artis, would you come to the podium and say a word to us? Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. On behalf of Benedict College, the HBCU that put the BC in HBCU and the 2019 HBCU of the Year, we are gratified beyond measure for the recognition of our city, the city that we call home, the famously hot Columbia, South Carolina. I am here to stay, and Benedict College is embarking on its 150th anniversary. So, I am not the mayor, so I do not travel with a security detail, but I do have about 40 BC Tigers in the room who are here to acknowledge the great work happening on the campus of Benedict College. I am not confused about my role as the first female president of Benedict College. I am tying up. My tie is a reflection of the leadership of Saxton Keat, Mr. BC. Where is Mr. BC? So, Mr. BC started an initiative on the campus of Benedict College, Tie It Up Tuesdays, a Dress for Success day at Benedict College where all of our young men wear ties. Now, they divested themselves of the tie for purposes of blending into the family, but because I'm the president, I took personal privilege, and so that is why I am dressed like a man. But it is my honor and privilege to support our young people in all that they do. in all of their initiatives, all of their creativity, all of their brilliance. They are the best of Benedict College. I thank you so much for acknowledging the hard work of my entire staff and team. BP Burgess is here with me, Terry Mills is here with me, and so many that actually do the work on the campus of Benedict College. Thank you for this recognition.
Thank you
We
very
are
much.
inspired to work even harder.
Amen.
Join us.
Ed, set him up here.
Oh, man.
Needless to say, we're incredibly proud of Benedict College, Dr. Artis, and Leandra, and all you young stars. We would love for you to hang out all night long, but we would not be offended if you went and did some studying, okay? Keep your grades up, okay? All right, y'all keep on doing great things. Amazing things that happen on your campus, and it's all because of you all right? Proud of you, all right? All right. Yeah. Samantha?
Yeah, that's her. Behind her. Okay.
City of Columbia 2019 Business Spotlight honoree, Moda Enterprises LLC, Ms. Melissa L. Lindler, our Director of the Office of Business Opportunities, will present the award.
Put the microphone up. Put the microphone up. Pull the microphone up. I don't know where we moved it to.
I'm sorry.
I know, we moved it.
Push it in. There you go.
I'm sure, but I was like, I'm not that sure. Is that better?
Perfect.
That's good.
Good evening. As I often hear our mayor, our city council, and always our city manager talk about how diverse our city is. We have one of the most diverse cities, not only in the state of South Carolina, but in the country. And in doing that, diversity is so important, but also inclusiveness is also important. As an inclusive city, our policies, our behaviors recognize and celebrate the differences with everyone having the same access to opportunities. And it's why today is so important as we celebrate Vanessa Mota of Mota Enterprises LLC as our 2019 Business Spotlight honoree. Mota Enterprises LLC was established 11 years ago, and they're known for promoting cultural awareness, diversity, and inclusion by supporting the development and growth of Latino businesses throughout the city of Columbia and the greater Midlands area. As a connector, she provides translation services, coaching, and training across cultural markets. Vanessa has been very connected to the Office of Business Opportunity since I've been here. When I started working with the city manager, the mayor, always trying to stretch and engage all sectors of our community. And Vanessa has certainly helped us do that by bridging the gap with the Latino businesses, building bridges of trust, respect, and understanding across cultures. So today is not only important that we're celebrating her, but it's also occurring during National Hispanic Heritage Month. So all of you have a nice little baked good there in front of you in recognition of that, paying tribute to the generations of Hispanic Americans who have positively influenced and enriched our nation and society. And Vanessa has done that. So I now present to you our 2019 Business Spotlight honoree, Vanessa Mota of Mota Enterprises LLC.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank God overall today. Thank the OBO and Melissa Lindler for this opportunity. Thanks to the mayor and everyone here for your time, especially the community of family, my family, and friends here supporting our company and I today. Mota Enterprises LLC opened with the vision of always helping others. In these 11 years, our vision has grown to help Latino and other minority businesses grow. Overall, we advocate diversity and inclusivity. This year, I realized that before money, it is the legacy that you leave behind, which is more important, something I always see Mayor Steve Benjamin do and other people around here. Another person is Raj and other people that I can look up to. As well, my life and business message have aligned. I know today I am a connector of cultures, people, and value. Together, we become stronger. Today, I am here humbled and blessed for receiving such a tremendous recognition. I am here to tell you the door is open, whether you're Latino, African American, Asian, Caucasian, and or European. Go through this door, this open door, and continue working hard for your vision. We all have the same opportunities, only different talents. One last time, thank you very much. Si se puede. I would like to say something. We have India in the house, Samoa, Panama, Venezuela, El Salvador, Peru, Mexico, Philippines, India, China, and if I'm missing somebody, please tell me, but a Caucasian, African American in support today, and I feel very humbled, and I am so thankful.
We also have someone from Bataan.
Melissa did an excellent job characterizing Vanessa's leadership. When I think of the definition of just an ambassador, I mean, I can think of very few places I go that are worth going in the city that you aren't already there, working hard, just really extolling the values of what it means to be a city for all people, something that we hold to heart. So thank you so much, Vanessa. It's wonderful to recognize you and this proclamation, and we're looking forward to continued success for you. And we know when you're successful, this city is successful. God bless you. All right.
Four times already. Let's keep on moving. Don't fade. That's 4 times. Got one more to go. Maybe 2 more. 2 more.
It took me a moment. Mrs. Hall here? Is Mrs. Hall here?
I think over there. Ready, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
Okay. Item 40, the Willie Hall Jr. Day Proclamation, the Honorable Mayor Stephen K. Benjamin.
Is Mrs. Hall here? Yeah, where's she? Come on up. Come on up. You don't have to speak if you don't want to, but come on up anyway. It's I know it seems like we spend a lot of time at council meetings just recognizing people, but I tell you what, if you don't take the time to say thank you to people for their sacrifices and their hard work and their community work, then I'm not sure what's the purpose in being here. I want to read this proclamation on behalf of the Hall family and the community at large. Whereas Mr. Willie Hall Jr., affectionately known to his close friends as Mac and Pete, but his most rewarding name was Coach Hall. And whereas Mr. Hall was married to his loving wife Sandra for 10 years and was the oldest child of Mr. Willie Hall Sr. and Mrs. Willie Alice Hall. He was a father of 2, stepfather of 4, grandfather of 15, and the oldest of 9 siblings. And whereas he loved teaching young children about the game of baseball and about the game of life at Greenview, Meadow Lakes, and Hyatt Parks, and whereas Mr. Hall was a father figure for many children, never asked for anything in return for the things he did for them, and the only thing he asked the children was to be good citizens and always do what's right, both at home and at school. And whereas Mr. Hall encourages athletes to follow their dreams, and so many of his children go off to college as a result of his coaching, and whereas his impact on the community is unmatched and will be forever loved, he'll be missed and never forgotten. Now, therefore, I, Stephen Benjamin, Mayor of the City of Columbia, along with my fellow members of Columbia City Council, do hereby proclaim September 17th, 2019 as Willie Hall Jr. Day in the City of Columbia and urge our fellow citizens to recognize and participate in its observance. Ms. Hall. You're welcome to say something. I can tell you might not want to, but please. No.
I'm not a good speaker. That's all right. But for everybody who know my husband, they know to love him. And I thank you all so much for acknowledging him and recognizing him for the things that he's done for the children in the community and for anybody that needed help. I didn't care who it was. He never met a stranger. And I thank y'all so much. These are his brothers. Thank you so much.
Well, men like your husband are what make this community strong. We need a whole lot more men just like him. So thank you for making it a point to honor his legacy. We appreciate it. We share your love.
One more. Maybe not. I don't think Robin. Robin? I don't think Robin would.
Oh, Lordy.
The gentleman wanted to make it a point to know that they're still coaching in the coach's honor. The coaching is still going on, still mentoring boys in the community. Amen. Amen. All right. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if you would, in order to proceed with the presentations, although this is under resolutions, item 42, we could move up. Resolution number R 2019-086, approving the honorary naming of the intersection of Gervais Street and Pine Street as Gregory Adams Moultrie Way.
Mr. McDowell?
So moved.
So move.
Second.
Moving second. Any discussion? Saying none, move the previous question. Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Rickman?
Aye.
Mr. McDowell?
Aye.
Mr. Duval?
Aye.
Mr. Badura?
Aye.
Mr. Vine?
Aye.
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin?
Aye. Thank you.
May I say a word?
Please, absolutely. Reverend McDowell?
If you've ever driven down Gervais Street and there was a smell that tickled your nostrils, it was the frying of fish, crabs, shrimp, delectable items of. Can we close that door, please? Delectable items of culinary surprise. We honor today, and we give him the honor as we celebrate the renaming of Pine and, of course, on the corner of Gervais Street, Palmetto Fish. I'm hungry already. This business has afforded each of us the opportunity to not only dine in very simplistic ways and to be hybolically stuffed with seafood, but also the fellowship and the kind of atmosphere. I would think that when my wife brought home fish, or I picked it up, it was Greg who helped us dine sufficiently. How appropriate it is, a young man who worked so hard, a young man who gave of his time, talents, his gifts, and blessed each one of us as we so dined. So tonight we give honor to him and to the Moutry family as we display Gregory Adam Moutry Ray.
I just want to say I thank everybody, Mayor Benjamin, the City Council, and the City Manager. All the texts I've received, the letters, the visits, words can't express how I feel now. And Greg has his star, and I'm his mom. This is his dad and his family. And we love all our children, but Greg was the one that stood out the most. He worked on that corner, relentless, and greeted everybody with a smile. And he allowed my husband and myself him to work for the city, long hours, and me to be a registered nurse and pursue all I wanted to do, never asking anything for himself. And I just couldn't let my baby go without just letting him know just how much I care about him, and his memory will forever be in my heart. And I'm just a mother that just loves her child. And I'll never forget him. And when I look at this star and I ride up Gervais when I'm retired or whatever, and I said, look, there's my baby, that's my baby. That's my baby. And I'm just grateful to the City of Columbia for just allowing Greg to have this honor. That's all.
Yeah, she's on the back that way.
Miss,
Probably got 4 or 5 more streets tonight.
Hey.
All right. It is? Okay. Okay, thank you. All right, Madam City Manager?
Item 41 is the Majeska Simpkins site update. Ms. Robin Waits, Executive Director of the Historic Columbia Foundation. Of Historic Columbia. I added the foundation part to it.
Good evening.
Evening.
I'm Dawn Mills Campbell, member of the Board of Trustees for Historic Columbia and Chair of the Jubilee Steering Committee. We've got some of our committee members, Historic Columbia members with us. Thank you for your ongoing support of Historic Columbia. We are proud steward of the 3 city-owned historic sites and particularly excited this week leading up to this Saturday's upcoming 41st annual Jubilee Festival and Black History and Culture celebration, which is centered at the Man Simon and Majeska Simpkins site. Last year, over 8,000 people enjoyed food, music, tours, and artist demonstrations. This year, we are excited about our performance and special guest lineup. And as a graduate and employee of Benedict College, I am proud to say that the Benedict College Jubilee or the Benedict College Concert Choir will be there for the Jubilee portion of the choir presentations. At 12:15, Karen Parsons, children's author and actor of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, will be on stage talking about her work. She will be in the demonstration artist tent signing her books from 12:45 to 2:45. Then at 3 p.m., our music stage headliner will be none other than Dwelle, a multiple Grammy Award nominee and winner. he will take the stage. Dwele has blazed a trail for his generation's soul and R&B era. We invite you to join us at some point during the day. The festival runs from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., and we hope that you will come, that you will bring your family, and that you will share with your friends. It will be a great day. Also, as a follow-up to the honorary recognition of the 2000 block of Marion Street at Majeska Simpkins Way that you announced in May, on Friday, September 20th at 6 p.m., we will host a dedication of honor. There you will have an opportunity to see the physical rehabilitation of the site that was completed in May and get a preview of the new exhibits and classroom space made possible partly by a newly received National Park Service grant. So on behalf of the board and the staff, I thank you for your ongoing and long-standing support of Historic Columbia. We look forward to seeing you on Friday and hope to see you on Saturday for the festival. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Continuing with our resolutions, item 43, resolution number R 2019-082, authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement between the City of Columbia and the Municipal Association of South Carolina for the Municipal Association.
Move approval of the resolution.
Second, Ed.
Any discussion? Seeing none, move the previous question. Clerk call the roll.
Mr. Rickman.
Aye.
Mr. McDowell.
Yes.
Mr. Duval.
Aye.
Mr. Badura.
Aye.
Mr. Vine. Aye. Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Aye.
Item 44, resolution number R 2019-088, authorizing execution of a lease agreement between the City of Columbia and J. D. Rickman Sr. and Mary Rickman.
So move.
Is there a second? Is there any discussion? Seeing none, move the previous question. Clerk call the roll.
Mr. Rickman.
Aye.
Mr. McDowell.
Yes.
Mr. Duval.
Aye.
Mr. Badura.
Aye.
Mr. Vine. Aye. Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Aye.
Item 45, resolution number R 2019-090, authorizing the city manager to execute the amendment to the Richland Sewer Agreement and Satellite Sewer Service Agreement between the City of Columbia and Richland County.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, move the previous question. Clerk call the roll.
Mr. Rickman.
Aye.
Mr. McDowell.
Yes.
Mr. Duval.
Aye.
Mr. Badura.
Aye.
Mr. Vine. Aye. Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Aye.
Ordinance's second reading, item 46, ordinance number 2019-056, amending the 1998 Code of Ordinances of the City of Columbia, South Carolina, Chapter 14, Offenses and Miscellaneous Provisions to add Article 12, Extreme Risk Protection Orders.
move.
Mayor, I want to move with an amendment. I want to amend Section 14-353 under definitions. It's just to verbally amend the sentences as court shall mean municipal court, amend it to read court shall mean a court of competent jurisdiction.
All right.
And I would so move.
Second.
Moved by Mr. McDowell as amended, second by Mr. Davis.
There's public here,
Ms. Devine, could you read that just one more time?
It's just under definitions. We have municipal court, and for clarity, it actually should say a court of competent jurisdiction.
Thank you.
This is not a public hearing. You want to speak on extreme risk protection orders as well? Yeah, actually, there are a few more than 3 people who signed. It wasn't Skip, but no one spoke up. But I did see about 6 people actually signed up to speak on the hate intimidation ordinance. Are you also hoping to speak on the extreme risk protection orders? Okay, we're still on number 46. Okay. The ordinance as amended. We'll move the previous question. Clerk call a roll.
Mr. Rickman.
Aye.
Mr. McDowell.
Yes.
Mr. Duval.
Aye.
Mr. Badura.
Aye.
Mr. Vine.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Aye. As a matter of course, this is not the time for public input, but I do want to make it clear that anyone has the opportunity to speak, and I want to recognize the citizens who signed up to speak as opposed to taking up after we've acted. First person who signed up is it Dana Smith? I'm sorry, I can't read. Is it Dana Smith? Please. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. I know I spoke to you last month, so I'm not going to reiterate what I said last month, but just the need for this to be inclusive, because as some individuals did speak, the state is not moving this, and with the city moving forward, and also with the time that it takes for a crime to be passed to the FBI, things can happen. But if local law enforcement gets involved from the beginning and can be involved, then it can prevent evidence from being lost, a case becoming cold, and maybe finding the individuals. Because I did mention the 4 individuals that have been killed in the past 18 months. And the perpetrators of those crimes, and 3 of those are unknown still to this day. And a lot of it, the first one in Sherrod that happened, was because it took a long time for the FBI to get on site and get involved. But if the city police can get involved immediately, then that can make all the difference in the world for finding out who these perpetrators are. So thank you and appreciate the time.
Thank you so much, Ms. Smith.
Thank you.
Mr. Steve LaFemin. Madam Clerk.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Steve Lefferman. I'm speaking in opposition to the proposed hate speech ordinance as a remedy to the plague of gun violence in Columbia. Instead, I would like to address the gun violence problem in Columbia from a Christian, moral, and spiritual perspective. I hope you will be willing to consider Christian input to this problem from a biblical perspective, whether you yourself are a Bible-believing Christian or not. This is my view. First, the moral perspective. More than one public figure has expressed grief over the loss of respect for the sanctity of human life evidenced by gun violence, especially when committed by young people. As a society, we have greatly lost respect for the image of God in each and every person put there by God the Creator. We adults should not be surprised that multiple generations of youth are resorting to violence to solve their problems with others. The Bible says God is not mocked, that we reap what we sow. For the last 46 plus years, we have sown violence into multiple generations. We have killed in America over 61 million reported unborn children inside the wombs of their mothers. For South Carolina, that number is over 397,000. We have taught children growing up that it is okay to kill those who are unwanted. And now we are reaping the bad fruit of what we have sown. Abortion, quote unquote, that is violence against children while in the womb of their mothers, I believe, is the root cause of the violence that we see coming out of these younger generations. From a spiritual perspective, the same. I believe there's a connection between the shedding of innocent blood in the womb and the shedding of innocent blood on the streets, etc., by gun violence. The Bible says in Hosea 4:2, quote, blood toucheth blood, or in other words, bloodshed follows bloodshed. The bloodshed in the womb is being followed by bloodshed on the streets. Lastly, God says through Ezekiel the prophet in chapter 35, verse 6, therefore as I live, saith the Lord God, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. End quote. Council members, blood is pursuing us here in Columbia and in Richland County. Richland County leads all 46 counties in the state in the number of mothers who are paying to have their unborn children destroyed by abortion. DHEC's vital and morbidity statistics for 2016 and 2017 show Richland County with approximately 1,400 out of the 10,000 plus abortions committed upon South Carolina mothers, or about 13% of the state total each year. May I finish the last sentence?
Please.
So my exhortation and request to each of you and to law enforcement leaders is, if you want to stop the plague of gun violence on the streets, then speak up and do what you can to oppose the violence perpetrated against the unborn right here in Columbia, especially at the Planned Parenthood Abortion Center in Middleburg Park. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, Mr. LaFemin. Thank you. Mr. Charlie Davis.
Thank you all for letting me. Mr. Mayor, it's good to see you again.
Yes, sir.
And all of you. I'm just going to read this so I don't lose time. And I appreciate what you do every day. I know it's hard, but I would like to read this, and it says, there are good laws and bad laws. Hate crime or intimidation laws or criminal penalty enhancement laws are bad laws. And you would say, why? Isn't hate a bad thing? Could anyone oppose hate laws? Good laws are designed, however, to punish wrongdoing or action. Hate crime laws are designed to punish intent or thought. And only God can determine, as He alone knows, what the intent of a person was when he actually committed a crime. It also leads to government selecting special groups to get special treatment. Why should not everyone get the same special treatment, not just a select few, based on someone's idea of who deserves this extra special protection? A crime is a crime regardless of what motivated it, and it should be punished accordingly to the full extent of the law. The American forensic psychologist Karen Franklin said that laws to punish people who commit so-called hate crimes may not be the best remedy for preventing them because the threat of punishment does not actually deter such criminal acts. None of the mass killings, the ones at the Emmanuel Church, the ones at El Paso, the one at Dayton, the one at the gay nightclub, the numerous school shootings, none of these mass killings which have occurred were stopped due to the currently existing hate crimes bill passed in 2009. Nor will the bill proposed by our city council have that same effect because it is modeled exactly after the president's bill that was passed in 2009. I'm not sure, and I hope this isn't the case, that the city council appears to be passing laws just as reactionary virtue signaling so it can be said we did something and that we look good. Defining crimes as being committed by one group against another rather than as an individual against society can also cause a sense of persecution inside a backlash, leading to an increase in crime of retaliation. That has happened many times. All law proceeds from God. He gave humanity rules to live by, and if followed, will lead to humanity flourishing and happy. God created all people in His image, male and female. There's no distinction in the value of one person over another. This bill is flawed in that it seeks to elevate the value of one group over another. The biggest thing I would say is Tony Perkins, he's a writer. He wrote an article from September 9th. The missing component to this discussion is the impact of the moral vacuum created by eliminating virtue, faith, and civility from the public square. New gun laws will never achieve what a commitment to the golden rule can. The problem is not the absence of laws, it's the absence of morality. We all want to disarm hate, but that's impossible without embracing truth first. The problem is a heart problem, and it's not a gun problem. So I understand that you're trying to do something good, but I don't think it's going to be effective, because it's already not been effective.
Thank you, Mr. Davis.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. I didn't want to recognize the fact we did have an opportunity to meet after the last meeting and spend some quality time with Mr. Davis and a minister friend of his, and had the opportunity to have a good, respectful meeting and agree to disagree. But I appreciate the time and the discourse and the follow-up. Mr. Charles Frick.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Charles Fricka, and I am here to support the hate intimidation ordinance. The reason why is when we call out hate in our society, we allow our society to become a bigger, more inclusive society. No one should have to live in fear of, because of who they are or what they look like or what they believe, that they will be punished by another person just because of it. This is an inclusive bill that covers everyone. So everyone has some form of protection in this hate crime ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. And I believe Michael Reed, is that correct? Evening.
Good evening.
I appreciate your service here. I know that you got a tough job. You've got to weigh a lot of things out, but I'd like to give you my opinion on something too. And I want to talk about this hate crime bill. I want to ask you a question. Have you ever been mad? You ever been upset? You ever been frustrated, had a bad day? Ever said anything that you wish you hadn't said, or thought anything you didn't really want to think? I think that's part of the problem with a hate crime bill, is that sometimes we want to put the finger on people who are having a tough time and have struggles in dealing with these things, and sometimes they come out the wrong way. I deal with a lot of young people, young athletes and this kind of thing, and coaching them. And I know sometimes they struggle with their emotions and their anger, and that's why I'm there, is to help them with sports activities. But there's a lot of people who are in this community, and they're diverse people, diverse thoughts. People sometimes don't agree. They disagree on many things. But I think the hate crime law will suppress the freedom and the ability of people to express themselves and speak. And I'm not talking about going out here and beating people over the head. That's not speaking. That's not speech. If they do that, that's conduct. And I believe that's what government is for, is to regulate conduct. But the intents and the thoughts of our heart, nobody can know that. People can look just perfectly sane and normal, and they may be crazy inside. On the exact opposite, I deal with some young people who may act like they are crazy, but I know they're not. They're just frustrated, or they having problems. So I would ask you to please not rush with haste into passing a hate crime law. I would ask you not to do that, because I think it may have repercussions that maybe we're not thinking about right now. And I know you all have thought this thing very well, but I just think that if this thing passes, that it will suppress freedom to speak in ways that we hadn't thought about maybe. And I know I've talked to some pastors, and they are concerned that it will limit their ability to preach even in their own churches if someone comes in and wants to create a situation.
Sure.
Thank you. Anyway.
Thank you, Mr. Reed.
Thank you.
I know that a number of people see the title of a bill or read an article about a bill, and some have, I'm sure, read the proposed ordinance, and some may not have read the proposed ordinance. We're talking about when someone actually commits a crime, and that crime is based upon your peers, or the determination of a judge acted on based on some animus. The same protections afforded to every single actor of someone who's committed a crime. So I've been around, again, long enough, as I said the last meeting, to know that good and decent people can see the same thing and see it very differently. I also know that if, in fact, we want to be a city that extols particular values as it relates to inclusivity, then in times like these, it's so important to act and make a clear and affirmative statement of our values. And that means we're a city for all people. I move approval.
Second.
Right. Any further discussion? With the previous question, clerk call the roll.
Mr. Rickerman?
Aye.
Mr. McDowell? Mr. Duval?
Aye.
Mr. Bedora?
Aye.
Mr. Vine?
Aye.
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin?
Aye. Thank you, and thank you everyone. I know I wish I'd say there are two sides on this, but I think there are probably several different respectful opinions in the room, and we've made opposition clear. Thank you.
Item 48, ordinance number 2019-063, amending Chapter 14, offenses and miscellaneous provisions to add Article 13, gun-free school zones.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, move the previous question. Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Rickman.
Aye.
Mr. McDowell.
Aye. Just say
Mr. McDowell. Mr. Duval.
Aye.
Mr. Badura.
Aye.
Ms. Devine.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Aye.
Thank you.
Mayor Benjamin, at this time, we would ask you open a public hearing for item 49. Council is asked to hold the final public hearing for the 2018 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, the CAPER Performance Review, and approve submission of the 2018 final CAPER report, along with all citizens' comments received during the 30-day comment period to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, prior to September 30th, 2019, as requested by the Community Development Department. And Ms. Saeed is here.
First public hearing is on August 20th.
29th. As
29th.
as a
Okay.
matter of record, I would like to have,
Make that clear,
state
29th.
that should
All
be
right.
corrected to read the 29th.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay. So, good evening, Mayor Benjamin.
Evening.
Members of City Council. It's a pleasure to be here this evening to go over our CAPER, our Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report. That's due annually, and the purpose of it is to report to HUD those projects that we took on and were successful at completing during the course of the year. But before I get started, I would like to take a moment of privilege to recognize our current CAC members who are here. If you all could please stand to be recognized. So much. I'd like to thank them for their commitment and dedication to the work that we do annually to help determine which projects are going to be recommended to City Council for funding. And I would also like to thank the community development staff. Several of them are here this evening. And as I go through the PowerPoint presentation that I have for you, I also want to say in advance thank you to all of the city departments, because we had quite a year last year with some of the mandates we had from HUD and spending money. We had Public Works, the Planning Department, we had CPD, Code Enforcement, GIS was very helpful to us. We also had those organizations that provided public service projects for us, and our HOPWA sponsors that really, really help us to succeed in meeting timeliness this past year. So my presentation will only take about 30 minutes, so I appreciate your, just kidding. I'll run right through it. You do have a written summary in front of you, but that's okay. I just had to get that out there. The written summary is in front of you, but I do want to highlight those things that occurred during the year. I'll be done in about 5 minutes. So again, the purpose of the CAPER is to provide HUD with information on what we were actually able to accomplish over the past fiscal year. As you know, we've already had our first public comment process. This is our second one, and at the end of the presentation, we will be asking for council to approve the Community Development Department to submit this to HUD at the end of the month. So some of the things that we'd like to share with you in terms of our revenue and expenditures during the course of the year is what we were able to spend. So we can show with CDBG what the revenue was for 2018, which is 2.2 million, and we actually spent 2.6 million. That's due to the fact that we had some prior year income, prior year funding, plus we had our program income that we were utilizing. Also with the home dollars, our revenue was 617, and we were able to spend 1.4 million. And with HOPWA, the revenue was 1.4, and we were able to spend 1.2 million. So, what is the leverage impact? Out of the expenditures totaling 5.3 million, we were able to leverage 9.2 with our partners and the other resources provided through our subrecipients. We have here just a abbreviated version. There's more information in your packet about some of the goals that we had during the course of the year and the number of people that we were able to serve. Of course, we have the ones that we project when we put our information into IDIS, and then we also list what we were able to accomplish, our actual accomplishments during 2018. I would point out that for the public facility, we can see where we estimated that we were going to serve 1,500 people. We were able to serve 5,000 based on the streets that we approve around the city, which is at 333% of what we proposed to do. We actually exceeded that. In addition, I wanted to point out the great work that the CPD did with the demolition project, where we estimated that we would do 23 demolitions, and we actually did 41. So we do a lot to make sure, working with our partners and departments, that this money can go as far as possible. So again, we thank all of them for their help. For our accomplishments during the year, again, I can't reiterate it enough. We did meet timeliness, and we're going to continue to meet timeliness, Ms. Wilson. We're going to work really hard at making sure we maintain that good place that we have currently with HUD. And also, we did something a little different this year with National CD Week. We actually had a luncheon and then a student essay contest on financial literacy, and that went really well. We also were the recipient again for the John A. Sasso Community Development Award. So just really briefly, we want to point out some of the non-entitlement programs that we were able to accomplish during the year. As you know, we've been offering the action grants to our neighborhoods. We funded 15 neighborhoods and a total of $14,000 over the past year. Also, we had the pilot kickoff for the Children's Savings Account, and we were able to serve 13 kindergartners and provide them with $50 deposits and match their dollars, and we were able to utilize a total of $786. And those funds, again, are donated funds that we receive from our corporate sponsors. We also serve 197 city residents through our customer care change-up program, expending $57,600 in those program funds. In terms of our public service activities, of course, we have the IDA account. Currently, that's an 8-to-1 match that's been increased over the years. We found out that the best way to utilize these funds is to assist with education, and so we're very pleased that we have 14 clients. Based on their $500 deposit, they'll be able to receive $4,000 for continuing their education. In terms of our Bank On and our Fresh Start workshops, we're still doing those around the community. We saw 1,002 people that were LMI and 35 were non-LMI. We funded the Homeless No More to assist with the after-school care of 81 children. And then, of course, with Fast Forward, they're continuing to do jobs, training, skills, and certifications. They served 77 LMI individuals. Again, you can see we try to be very diverse. With the United Way of the Midlands, they were funded with money to run a dental clinic. They served 827 people. And then the USC Food Share served 450 LMI residents with healthy food and education. So with our infrastructure projects, we've already said that, the planning department and Public Works did a great job. We funded ADA crosswalk connectors in the Edisto community, and also road improvements in Colonial community and Booker Washington Heights, as well as other street pavings. This is a map. No, you can't read the streets, but you can you can really see where a lot of the street improvements occurred around the city. And again, with our demolition and clearance and economic development, we were able to assist with funding 41 structures for demolishing. And also with our Office of Business Opportunity, we provided $140,744. They were able to do 5 facade loans and also leverage $70,468. Really quickly here, this is our table in reference to our housing programs. Of course, you know we have a wide variety. With our affordable housing, where we fund 100% of the loan, we did 11 with home dollars, and we did 11 with CDBG dollars. We did 5 houses under our City Lender 1. We did 12 under City Lender 2. We did 5 employee loans, and we were able to assist 8 families with MAP. So a total of 51 people were served, city contribution of $3.7 million, the banks leveraged 2.7 with total finance of $6.5 million. And some of our other accomplishments in terms of our outreach, we were able to do 5 home buy seminars serving 137 people. We participated in 8 promotional events where 665 people were participating, and also credit counseling. We had 2 sessions on that with 40 people. So we're still doing everything we can to make sure we're in the community and serving those who need assistance. With our HOPWA funding, we were able to fund our sponsors. They provided short-term rent, mortgage utility payments, supportive services. They provided rental subsidies, and with all of that, we were able to leverage $6.3 million just with our HOPWA program. There are a couple of maps in the information that you have, and again, we've already thanked our CAC committee for serving us over the past year, and I hope you'll enjoy reading the information, and at this point, we're just asking for approval to submit this information to HUD by September 29th. Thank you.
Very good.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Okay.
So is there a motion to? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Opposed?
I would move approval of the CAPER.
I second.
Yes, ma'am.
I moved in second. Discussion. With the previous question, clerk call the roll.
Mr. Rickman.
Aye.
Mr. McDowell. Mr. Duval.
Aye.
Mr. Badura.
Aye.
Ms. Devine.
Aye. Sorry.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Aye. Thank you, Ms. Saeed.
Thank you.
And thank you to the council, and thank you to our great CD staff. Let's keep up the great work.
Yes, sir. Item 50, we would also.
And we would not take offense if y'all went home right now either, okay? All right.
Item 50, Mayor Benjamin, another public hearing and first reading for zoning planning matters. The first being an annexation comprehensive plan map amendment and zoning map amendment, 68.4 acres, Lockman Road.
Krista, do you have a presentation or just?
As Ms. Wilson indicated, it's an annexation. This is adding to the Wood Creek Farms development.
Is there anybody here to speak for or against this annexation? Seeing none, is there a motion? Is there a second?
A second.
It's been probably moved in second. Any discussion? Seeing none, if the clerk will read the roll.
Mr. Rickman. Mr. McDowell. Mr. Duval.
Aye.
Mr. Badura.
Aye.
Ms. Devine.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
A 1.1 acre portion of 300 Clemson Road, a request to annex, assign a land use classification of UEMR and a zoning of general residential.
Is there anyone here to speak for or against this number 51? Seeing none, is there a motion?
Move approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been probably moved in second. Any discussion? Seeing none, if the clerk will read the roll.
Mr. Rickman,
Aye.
Mr. McDowell, Mr. Duval,
Aye.
Mr. Badura,
Aye.
Mr. Vine,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Aye.
400 North Beltline Boulevard, .07 acres, and East Chapel Drive, a request to annex and assign to land use classification of UCAC2, that's Urban Core Community Activity Center, in a zoning of general commercial.
So moved.
Is anyone here to speak in favor of or against this? That's a motion by Mr. Badura. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, move the previous question. Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Rickman,
Aye.
Mr. McDowell, Mr. Duval,
Aye.
Mr. Badura,
Aye.
Mr. Vine,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Aye.
The next three items relate to the Capital City Ballpark project. The first is at 1103 Ferguson Street, a request to annex, assign a land use classification of Urban Core Neighborhood Activity Center and a zoning of mixed use district and floodplain.
Second.
Is anyone here, I know there's some the proponents here. Anyone here to speak against this? Unless you guys really want to talk, we can go ahead and keep on moving. Moving probably second. Discussion, move the previous question. Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Rickman,
Aye.
Mr. McDowell, Mr. Duval,
Aye.
Mr. Badura,
Aye.
Mr. Vine,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Aye.
The next is an amendment to the Land Use Plan, Columbia Plan 2018, for 11.58 acres on the west side of Ferguson Street to modify the map use classification from UCMR3 to UCAC1.
Now the proponents are here in favor of this. Anyone here to speak against this? Seeing none, is there a motion?
Second.
Moving probably second. Discussion, move the previous question. Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Rickman,
Aye.
Mr. McDowell, Mr. Duval,
Aye.
Mr. Badura,
Aye.
Mr. Vine,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Aye.
Finally, a request to rezone 301 Assembly, 11.58 acres on the west side of Ferguson Street and .02 acres on the southeast side of Dreyfus, rezone from light industrial M1 flood protection to mixed-use corridor neighborhood, that's MX1 with the flood protection.
Proponents are here. Is anyone speak against this? Seeing none, is there a motion?
Second.
Moving second. Any discussion? Seeing none, move the previous question. Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Rickman,
Aye.
Mr. McDowell, Mr. Duval,
Aye.
Mr. Badura,
Aye.
Mr. Vine,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Aye.
That concludes your zoning public hearing.
Thank you,
Fantastic.
Krista. Moving into a period of ordinances, first reading, item 56, ordinance number 2019-071, relating to the recovery of collection costs as a part of the delinquent debts collected pursuant to the Set-Off Debt Collection Act.
Move approval.
Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move the previous question. Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Rickman,
All right, guys, let's get this project moving, guys. Let's get this project moving.
Mr.
Hey.
We want an update soon.
I think y'all, you keep on going.
Mr. McDowell, yes. Mr. Duval,
Aye.
Mr. Badura,
Aye.
Mr. Vine,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Aye.
Item 57, ordinance number 2019-072, authorizing consumption of beer and wine beverages only at the 2020 famously hot New Year
So
event.
move.
Second.
Moving second, any discussion? Seeing none, move the previous question. Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Rickman,
Aye.
Mr. McDowell, Mr. Duval,
Aye.
Mr. Badura,
Aye.
Mr. Vine,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Aye.
Item 58, ordinance number 2019-074, amending the 1998 Code of Ordinances of the City of Columbia, South Carolina, Chapter 11, Licenses, Permits, and Miscellaneous Business Regulations, Article 2, Business and Professional Licenses.
So move.
Second.
Moving second, any discussion? Seeing none, move the previous question. Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Rickman,
Aye.
Mr. McDowell, Mr. Duval,
Aye.
Mr. Badura,
Aye.
Mr. Vine,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
No. And that may change on second reading. Okay, need some more time to digest it.
Understand.
Item 59, ordinance number 2019-075, authorizing the City of Columbia, South Carolina to execute and deliver an equipment lease purchase agreement in the amount of not exceeding
So moved.
$9.25 million between.
Moved, is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, we'll move the previous question. Clerk, call the roll.
Mr. Rickman,
Aye.
Mr. McDowell, Mr. Duval,
Aye.
Mr. Badura,
Aye.
Mr. Vine,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Aye.
Item 60, ordinance number 2019-078, amending ordinance 2019-038 to adopt the budget for the
Is there a
City of
motion?
Columbia.
So, second.
Discussion? Seeing none, move the previous question. Clerk call the roll.
Mr. Rickman.
Aye.
Mr. McDowell. Mr. Duval.
Aye.
Mr. Badura.
Aye.
Ms. Devine.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Aye.
Item 67, council is asked to approve the installation of 2 speed humps on Devereaux Road as requested by the Public Works
By the
Department.
school.
Mr. Rickman?
So moved.
Second. It's moved and second. Any discussion?
Between Brennan and.
All right. Move the previous question. Clerk call the roll.
Mr. Rickman.
Aye.
Mr. McDowell. Mr. Duval.
Aye.
Mr. Badura.
Aye.
Ms. Devine.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Aye.
Item 68, as added, is the Commercial Corridor Development Plan, and we would ask council to endorse the plan as discussed yesterday during your workshop, to implement a plan for incentivizing various commercial corridors throughout our city. I know we had more specific discussions yesterday about the 5 Points area and getting started in that corridor. So with that, if council would so endorse.
I so move.
Just second. Moving second. Any discussion?
Just to follow up on the discussions we had yesterday, I know we spent a lot of time talking about this. One of the items in there is about the height variance, and I think the discussion was to try to engage the neighborhood surrounding 5 Points and maybe talk about parking issues. Just keep that, part of the conversation, I think. But the rest of it, I think it's fine. It's a really good plan.
Yes, sir.
We actually, just for your sake, we had a 2-hour meeting today with the entire staff, neighborhood representatives, and the 5 Points Association to discuss those issues.
I had a property owner call me today. I think she's left you a message, but I told her you were probably.
I talked to
here.
her.
You
I
did?
talked to her
Okay.
right after you did.
Okay, perfect.
I'm going to meet with her.
Okay.
Move the previous question. Clerk call the roll.
Aye.
Mr. McDowell. Mr. Duval.
Aye.
Mr. Badura.
Aye.
Ms. Devine.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Aye. Is everything, Madam City Manager, is that everything? Everyone who signed up to speak has spoken. I have no other signatures. Is there a non-debatable motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved.
Move the previous question. Clerk call the roll.
Rickman.
Aye.
Mr. McDowell. Mr. Duval.
Aye.
Mr. Badura.
Aye.
Ms. Devine.
Aye.
Mr. Davis.
Aye.
Mayor Benjamin.
Thank y'all.
Y'all have a good evening.
More sweets.